Hello, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Terry James Gingrass, and this is Dr. G's ADHD Chat. It's a show for trying to make the world safe for ADHD. And I got a specific topic this week. I'm a clinical psychologist and neuropsychologist. I'm in private practice. I do a lot of ADHD evaluations. At this stage of my career, mostly I'm doing evaluations. I don't do a whole lot of the treatment anymore, but I used to. And I did, 30 years or so of treatment. And I'm a science guy, okay? I believe, and nothing I have seen over more than 30 years of practice has dissuaded me from the notion that there is a way of getting truth in the world, and the best way is through science. And I know that's not real popular nowadays, but our political situation being what it is and all the rest of it. But y'all are out there, and if you have ADHD, or you have a child with ADHD, or you have a need, you have a what do I want to say? You have something you would give a lot to have solved. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that prey on that. It's kind of like my wife is a cancer survivor. And my God, you get on the internet and there is so much junk, just total fake stuff related to ADHD and the horrors of this or that other treatment and the ineffectiveness, and if you just go to Mexico and get guava injections or something, it's all nonsense. But it appeals to desperate people. It appeals to people who are looking for any kind of a solution they can find, and frequently haven't adequately evaluated the medical solutions that are available. Okay, I'm a neuropsychologist. I evaluate brains. I do not prescribe medications. I make recommendations, sure, but I don't write medications, and I had a somewhat uninformed, shall we say, individual ask me if I got a kickback from the drug companies when people were put on medication. I find that somewhat amusing, if not, though, downright insulting. No, I do not get a feedback. No, I never have gotten a feedback. None of us get a feedback, okay? Including the people who write the prescriptions. They don't even get the catered lunches they used to get in their private practices. All that stuff is pretty much gone away. You may get a coffee cup, but even that is not real likely. I also got an email this week from somebody watching the show. Actually, I got it while she was watching the show, asking me about a specific provider. And this is about a guy. This guy, he's a retired physician, and he is making claims that childhood trauma is what causes ADHD. This is a rather astonishing claim for all the middle class and upper middle class kids who have ADHD. I'm not sure what kind of trauma they are supposed to have undergone that's so bad that would make their brain chemistry actually change, but that's his claim. Okay, there are so many ways in which this is just blatant pandering, okay? I mean, the big deal about this is that you're helpless. You know, there's nothing you could have done. Um, it just happened to you, and that's always a dangerous thing, because no matter what, if you're helpless, you can't do anything about it. That means I mean, on the good side, I guess it means you're not responsible, but on the bad side, it means you can't do anything that's going to make things better. You are just stuck with a condition or a situation or a pain or whatever that you can't do anything about. And I find that just so irresponsible. I can't even hardly find words to describe how I feel about it. I mean, it's the... Okay, let's talk about how do we know, how does science work? How do we know that something is scientifically true? Okay, the way the scientific method is supposed to work, okay? You make an observation. You say, look, every time I do this, this happens. Or every time we add this medication, this happens. Or every time we, whatever, something happens. So you say, I wonder if those are related. I wonder if that might actually be a treatment for such and such. So you start thinking about it, and you do your research, and you look back over all the research that's been done in your specific area, and you think, well, that might be an extension of such and such's statement, and you make a prediction based on your hypothesis. And then you test it. You test it. You do research. If you're going to make claims that this thing works and you're the only one who knows how to make it work, you darn well better have done the research and have some proof for people. Not just that you're great on stage or something, but that you've actually done the research, that there are hundreds at least of people that you have evaluated using this technique, and they have had overwhelmingly positive results, or at least more positive than negative. Okay, so you have to test it, okay? Then you don't stop there. You go on and you say, well, we think we proved this, so we publish it, okay? Because one of the things, if somebody tells you that they're the only person who knows how to do a specific thing, be very, very cautious. Be very, very careful. If you are the only one who knows how to do it, what does that mean about all the other practitioners in your area of specialty? What about all the people who are, given the way things work in the world, there are going to be some people who are better prepared than you are, who have had better training. There are going to be some people who have access to better resources. But if they are all in the dark about what you do, and you're using what you know how to do, or say you know how to do, to make a lot of money, having outrageous speaking fees or whatever, that's not science, okay? That is, most gently, I guess I will say, that's being a snake oil salesman, okay? You know, you're the guy that's on TV at 11 o'clock at night selling, what is it, Ginzu knives or Ginzu knives? The proof of the pudding for any scientific knowledge is that other people can replicate your findings, that other people can take the same model that you used for your research and come up with the same results, or pretty close to the same results. That's how science works. If they don't do that, or nobody's done that, then it's not science. It's your hypothesis, if you will, your best guess about how things work, but it is not science. And you would do well to be very careful about people who are the only one who knows how something is supposed to work. You know, I'm the only one who's got this special brand of fish oil, or I'm the only one who's got this secret dietary methodology, or I'm the only one who knows how to help fat old men lose weight. Whatever the target audience is. If you got a guy, or it doesn't matter what sex they are, man, woman, whatever, if they're telling you that they're the only ones who know how to do this, run. Put your hand on your wallet and run out the door. Do not give them your credit card. You will not be happy. Okay? There are certain proofs we know, certain things that have been proven to work. Research those, apply those. Okay? We all know that those of us who have gained too much weight are gained too much weight because we ate the wrong stuff and didn't exercise enough. It isn't real complicated, okay? Yeah, and stress has a player in it, and our quality of sleep and all that stuff. But it isn't because we didn't take the magic vitamin pill or have the magic diet. It just doesn't work that way. And ADHD is a genetic disorder. It affects the ability to, actually, it affects the ability to slow down the metabolism of dopamine and norepinephrine, and it causes problems with impulses and attention. And again, it's not that you can't pay attention, it's that you don't have good control over what you pay attention to. If it's something you like, you'll pay great attention to it. If it's something you don't like very much, it's really hard to pay attention to. Okay, that's it. It is not going to give you eczema. It is not going to make you gain weight. And there are certain other behavioral problems that are uncomfortable to be around, the emotional lability and that sort of thing. But when I look at a lot of the questions that some people have about ADHD, it's like, oh my God, you poor thing. To think that it can do all of that? No, there are a lot of things, bad things that can happen with ADHD people, kids, your children, my children. There are a lot of bad things that can happen. But ADHD may be a factor, but that isn't the total reason for a lot of things. And I'm going to keep it artfully vague there because I don't want to, I can't get specific about every one of the things, and I don't want to pick out some particularly unique observation I saw about ADHD on the internet. But there are a ton of them. There are every day I see things. It's like, oh my God, what are they thinking? I mean, or worse than that is like, oh wow, you imagine thinking that? Having a child with ADHD and thinking this? Okay. The deal with the scientific method, the deal with being able to evaluate things scientifically, there has to be research. But nobody can just come along and say, oh, well, I was meditating and this came to me and this is the way things work and it's going to work for you too. You got to know what the numbers are. You got to know, are they just, taking stuff that we know generally and kind of using it slightly differently? Fine, not a problem. But if they're claiming that they've got the secret and it's a whole new way of doing things, and nobody else believes that, then you've got to be what? You got to be real careful. I see it all the time, particularly in the health industry. All kinds of claims for magic ways to lose weight, all sorts of claims for magic diets, all sorts of claims for magic pills. It's just, I mean, I hate to say this, and I hate to break it to you if this is the first time you've heard it, but most of everything in the world is about being persistent and applying yourself. You know, you want to lose weight? Fine. You have to go to the gym, or you have to have a gym in your home, or you have to have trails that you walk or run or whatever. You've got to increase your exercise if you want to decrease your waist size. Simple. And there are all kinds of not fun, but there are all kinds of beneficial side effects from just increasing attention. For almost any psychological problem, you will have an improvement if you increase your attention. Now, that's nothing I discovered. It's well known in the literature. It's been written about for years. Rate and others have written about the effect of exercise on ADHD. It is well documented. I am not inventing this, and I'm not going to sell you my free let's get real. My $750 program for using exercise to treat ADHD. I'm not going to do it. Okay? There isn't enough new there that I would feel comfortable asking for that kind of money. I mean, I know. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. Okay, I've been working in this field for a long time. And, you know, honestly, a lot of it is because I have a child, or now he's an adult, who has ADHD, and I needed to find out what was going on so I didn't screw up so bad as a parent. It's real simple, but it's a very strong motivator, I guarantee you. And because of that, I am a little bit guarded about some of the claims that are made, particularly for treating ADHD, but also, honestly, for people who claim to have all these secret information guides to treating cancer as well. My wife is a 15-year survivor, okay? And she had some bad kind of cancer. So standard treatments cured her or have got her in remission for an extended period of time. My God. We have people, tons of people, dedicated, brilliant even, people who are working hard to find cures for things. And no, they're not all shills of the big pharma industry. The deal with that is it's a double-edged sword. You find something nobody else has found, and then nobody else can find it, you will be laughed out of the business, okay? You can't afford to lose your reputation if you want to be a respected researcher. Tons of people have made the mistake of tweaking some numbers so it gives a little better result, but they always get caught eventually, and they always lose big time. So look at the science behind what people are saying. Does it fit in with the things that have already been established, with the scientific truths that have already been established about a given area? Okay? If it sounds like woo-woo magic stuff, it probably is. And the ability of that that particular procedure to be effective is probably not very good. Okay? It's probably it's probably false. Let's just put it that way. And we won't go into character assassination, although I'm a New Englander, I can do that. But, you know, if people are saying that everybody else in the world is wrong and they're the only ones who know the right answer, run away from them. Do not support that. And for gosh sakes, don't tell your friends to do the same thing. One last thing I want to talk about. in scientific research, it is well known that there's a thing called the Hawthorne Effect if you are working with people. And it comes out of some research that was done in factories on increasing productivity. So what they did was they got their control group of people, and then they got their experimental group, the folks that they were going to do something different with. And they changed, I think it was, they started out, changing the lights, making them brighter in a given work section. And production went up. Okay. And then they changed something else, something about maybe they piped in music, I can't remember the specifics. And production again went up. And they kept doing different things. And every time they did something different, production went up. And finally, and it actually also went up in the control groups, and the only extra attention they were getting is that they were doing a pre and post evaluation. But what they the conclusion they kind of finally came to was that anything they did that showed people that they were interested in them increased productivity. So anything you do that's different, that's a manipulation, you've got to be real careful that your control group doesn't suffer from the Hawthorne effect. But basically what you try to do is control enough of the factors that there may be a little bit of an increase in performance in your control group, but the amount is not nearly as significant as your treatment group. Just saying. Okay, Hawthorne effect. Because people are sometimes, people are sometimes pretty needy. They want somebody to pay attention to them, to tell them they're doing a good job, etc., etc. Okay, more on that next time. Next time we get together. In the interim, I am Dr. Terry James Gingras, and this is Dr. G's ADHD Chat, and this is a show for people who are trying to make the world safe for ADHD. And I firmly believe this: ADHDers are outside-the-box thinkers, and they're going to be the people who change the world, because compliant thinkers don't change anything. They just make what we got going, keep going. But outside-the-box thinkers change things. And who knows, maybe your child is the one who's going to solve global warming or any kind of problem you can think of that's on a mass scale. Okay, and I am available you can answer, or you can ask me questions somewhere down below, I think it is. And I appreciate it if you would, because I really like knowing I'm getting through to some people and knowing that, knowing what your questions are. That helps me. It helps the rest of the folks who watch this show. Okay, we will catch you next time. And thank you for watching. And the deal is not to offend anybody. The deal is to add some knowledge and some information. See ya.